Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Iskon Guru Vrinda ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the Sun. All glories to the Sun. All glories to the Sun. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Guru. Statitamena Bhutale, Swayamurupakadayam Dharati Savarantikam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Uday Mahat Prema Puro Vibho Nirmochate Dhamusha Mamte Gadam Sada Sada Satmagalam Krishna Bhagavan Chamsime Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we continue reading. Canto 8, Chapter 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Mohini Murti bewilders Lord Shiva. Text 7. Tam Brahma Purnam Amritam Vigunam Vishokam 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 Ananda Matram Avikaram Ananyatanya Ananda Matram Avikaram Ananyatanya Ananda Matram Avikaram Ananyatanya Ananda Matram Avikaram Ananyatanya Vishvasya Heturdaya Stiti Samyamanam Vishvasya Heturdaya Stiti Samyamanam Vishvasya Heturdaya Stiti Samyamanam Vishvasya Heturdaya Stiti Samyamanam Atmeshwarascha Tadapekshatayanapeksha Atmeshwarascha Tadapekshatayanapeksha Atmeshwarascha Tadapekshatayanapeksha Atmeshwarascha Tadapekshatayanapeksha Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Ananda Matram Abhikaram Ananyadanya.
Ananda Matram Abhikaram Ananyadanya.
Vishvasya Heturudaya Sthiti Samyamana.
Vishvasya Heturudaya Sthiti Samyamana.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapeksha.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapeksha.
Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Anandamatram Abhikaram Ananyaranya.
Anandamatram Abhikaram.
Vishvasya Hetu Udayastiti Samyamanam.
Vishvasya Hetu Udayastiti Samyamanam.
Atmaneshvarascha Tadapekshataya Napeksha.
Atmeshvarascha Tadapekshataya.
Tam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Vishvasya Hetu Udayastiti Samyamana.
Vishvasya Hetu Udayastiti Samyamana.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapeksha.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapeksha. Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam. Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam. Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya. Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya. Vishvasya Heturudaya Sthiti Samyamanam. Vishvasya Heturudaya Sthiti Samyamanam. Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapekshaha. Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapekshaha.
Tvam Brahma Purnam Amritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Tvam Brahma Purnam Amritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyat.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Vishvasya Hetu Udayastiti Samyamanam.
Vishvasya Heturudaya Sthiti Samyamanam.
Atmeshvarascha Abhishetanayaanapeksha.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapekshaha.
Ladies, please.
Tam Brahma Bhudam Amritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Vishvasya Hetu Udayastiti Samyamanam.
Vishvasya Heturudaya Sthiti Samyamanam.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapeksha.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapekshaha.
Tvam Brahma Purnam Amritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Vishvasya Hetur Udayastiti Samyamanam.
Vishvasya Heturudaya Sthiti Samyamanam.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapekshaha.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapekshaha.
Tvam Brahma Purnam Amritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Tvam Brahma Purnamamritam Vigunam Vishokam.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Anandamatram Avikaram Ananyadanya.
Vishvasya Hetu Udayastiti Samyamanam.
Vishvasya Heturudaya Sthiti Samyamanam.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapekshaha.
Atmeshvarascha tadapekshatayanapekshaha.
Tvam, your Lord Lordship,
Your Lordship,
Brahma,
Brahma,
the all-pervading absolute truth,
all-pervading absolute truth,
Purnam,
Purnam,
fully complete,
fully complete,
Amritam,
Amritam,
never to be vanquished,
never to be vanquished,
Vigunam,
Vigunam,
spiritually situated,
spiritually situated,
free from the material modes of nature,
free from the material modes of nature,
Vishokam,
Vishokam,
without lamentation,
without lamentation,
Anandamatram,
Anandamatram,
always in transcendental bliss,
always in transcendental bliss,
Avikaram,
Vikaram,
changeless,
changeless,
Ananyat,
Ananyat,
separated from everything,
separated from everything,
Anyat,
Anyat,
yet you are everything,
yet you are everything,
Vishvasya,
Vishvasya,
of the cosmic manifestation,
of the cosmic manifestation,
Hetu,
Hetu,
the cause,
Udaya,
of the beginning,
of the beginning,
Sthiti,
Sthiti,
maintenance,
maintenance,
Samyavanam,
Samyavanam,
and of all the directors,
and of all the directors,
controlling the various departments
controlling the various departments
of the cosmic manifestation,
of the cosmic manifestation,
Atma Ishvaraha,
Atma Ishvara,
the super soul giving direction to everyone,
the super soul giving direction to everyone,
Cha,
Cha,
also,
also,
Tadapekshataya,
Tadapeksha,
everyone depends upon you,
everyone depends upon you,
Anapekshaha,
Anapeksha,
always fully independent.
always fully independent.
Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Bhakti Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
My Lord, you are the Supreme Brahman, complete in everything. Being completely spiritual, you are eternal, free from the material modes of nature, and full of transcendental bliss. Indeed, for you there is no question of lamentation. Since you are the Supreme Cause, the cause of all causes, nothing can exist without you. Yet, we are different from you in a relationship of a cause and effect, for in one sense the cause and effect are different. You are the original cause of creation, manifestation, and annihilation, and you bestow benedictions upon all living entities. Everyone depends upon you for the results of his activities, but you are always independent. Purport: the Supreme Personality of Godhead says in Bhagavad Gita 9:4, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagata vyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutanina chahante shavastita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. This explains the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference known as Achintya Bheda Abheda. Everything is the Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, yet the Supreme Personal is differently situated from everything. Indeed, because the Lord is differently situated from everything material, He is the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Cause, the Supreme Controller. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha, the Lord is the Supreme Cause, and His form has nothing to do with the material modes of nature. The devotee prays, as your devotee is completely free from all desires, your Lordship is also completely free from desires. You are fully independent. Although all living entities engage in your service, you do not depend on the service of anyone. Although this material world is created complete by you, everything depends on your sanction. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Matta smriti jnanam pohanam cha, remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness come from you. Nothing can be done independently, yet you act independently on the service rendered by your servants. The living entities depend on your mercy for liberation, but when you want to give them liberation, you do not depend on anyone else. Indeed, by your causeless mercy, you can give liberation to anyone. Those who receive your mercy are called Kripa Siddha. To reach the platform of perfection takes many, many lives. Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanavan Mam Prapadyate. Nonetheless, even without undergoing severe austerities, one can attain perfection by your mercy. Devotional service should be unmotivated and free from impediments. Ahaitukya pratihatayatma suprasidati. This is the position of nirashishaha, of freedom from expectations for results. A pure devotee continuously offers transcendental loving service to you, but you may nonetheless offer mercy to anyone without depending on his service. Tvam Brahma Purnam Amritam Miganam Vishokam Anandam Matram Avikaram Anandadanyat Vishwasya Hetur Udayastiti Samyamanam Atmeshvarascha Tat Apekshatayan. My Lord, you are the Supreme Brahman, complete in everything, being completely spiritual. You are eternal, free from the material modes of nature, and full of transcendental bliss. Indeed, for you there is no question of lamentation. Since you are the Supreme Cause, the cause of all causes, nothing can exist without you. Yet, we are different from you in the relationship of cause and effect, for in one sense the cause and effect are different. You are the original cause of creation, manifestation, and annihilation, and you bestow benedictions upon all living entities. Everyone depends upon you for the results of his activities, but you are always independent. So this is another glorification offered to the Supreme Lord by Maharaja, Lord Shiva. And it's very scientific. It's describing the qualities of the Supreme Lord, who is described as Brahma, Supreme Brahman. And the particular purport here is based on apparently Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's and Sridhar Swami's purports. And these purports are extremely scientific. And it's very interesting to see how Srila Prabhupada gave the essence of all those purports, but he made it very simple for our understanding. I'll just give you one example of what Srila Sridhar Swami Das, original commentator of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He establishes the correlation between each word of the verse. He says that it seems like impersonal Brahman is glorified here, that the Lord is impersonal Brahman, but the first word, Tvam, is personal address, so that's why it's not impersonal Brahman, and the Lord is the source of impersonal Brahman, and that's why he is not different from Brahman, because he is spiritual, and because he is the source of Brahman, and everything is Brahman, that's why he is Purnam, and because he is Purnam, he is Amritam. Amritam means, Mrita means death, right? Amrita means immortality, eternality. So if something is incomplete or defective, we discard it, right? But if something is complete, then it doesn't require to be discarded, right? If something works perfectly well, why would you, give something up, right? For example. So, and because the Lord is Purnam, he is Amritam. because he is complete, he is eternal. And because he is eternal, he is Viguna. He is free from the influence of modes of nature, because modes of nature are making everything temporary, right? They create, maintain, and at the end they destroy. But something which is Amritam cannot be influenced by the modes, and if there are no influence of the modes, then Vishokam is free from, there is no lamentation in the Supreme Lord, because he is free from the modes. We can only imagine, right? If we would become free from the modes, we would not lament about anything, right? And because he is free from lamentation, Vishokam, naturally he is Ananda Matram, always in transcendental bliss. And because of that, he is Avikaram, changeless. If you're happy, why do you want to change anything? If you're ecstatic, you just want to keep it like that, right? And because he's changeless, he's separated from everything, because in the material world everything is changing, right? This is the only constant in the material world, that it all changes all the time. There is no other constant in this world. And yet he is Anyat. Anyat means he is also everything, which is really amazing. And so like that, just to give you the idea what Sridhar Swami does. The acharyas, they do really scientific analysis, especially of these kind of verses, but Srila Prabhupada makes it very, very simple for us. And so he explains that this is what Bhagavad Gita says. Of course, there are many, many verses establishing how the Supreme Lord is Brahman, right? And how he is non-different from his creation, and then he's quoting the beginning of the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Maya tatam vedam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina, that he says this whole material world is pervaded by me, but in my unmanifest form. So I am here, but I cannot be seen, right? Same like ghee or butter is in the milk, but can we see the butter in the milk? We cannot. Or if you put sugar in the water, it's sweet, but you cannot see the sugar, right? And so these are just material examples. So spiritually the Lord is here, but we cannot see him. And he says also that all beings are in me, but I am not in them. So this is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, inconceivable oneness and difference, that we are one with the Supreme Lord, but we are different from him. And this is the foundation of the Vaishnava philosophy. And it explains that the Lord is non-different from everything because he is the source of everything. He gives everything to everyone, but he is not depending on anyone. He is Svarat, as the first verse of Bhagavad Gita mentions, right? He's Avidya and Svarat. He's all cognizant and independent. And so, the beginning of Brahma Samhita says the same thing, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha, that Krishna is supreme controller and his form is eternity, knowledge and bliss. And so Prabhupada quotes the prayer here that devotees say, if your devotees are completely free from the modes of nature, what to speak of you, right? And so this is how we learn about Krishna. Actually, we don't know Krishna, but we know Krishna's devotees. And my Guru Maharaj says that devotees are the living proof of the existence of God, because devotees have amazing qualities which are not to be found in the material world, right? And so by associating with devotees, we develop our faith in the Supreme Lord. That's why Sadhu Sangha is so important. And the most important thing, the conclusion of this verse, which all the acharyas with Srila Prabhupada make, that because the Lord is independent on anyone and everyone is fully depending on Him, that's why He does not depend on anyone's service for His mercy. Of course, devotees are serving Him and they're getting a lot of mercy from the Lord, even more mercy than they can take. One time I've been to one community with no mentioning name, and I was horrified because for the Sunday feast there was so much mercy, so much prasadam given to the devotees and guests, and they would just take something and the rest was going into the trash, like half full plates going into the trash bins. And I remembered in Tirupati temple, temple president there, Revati Raman Prabhu, were good friends, so he's inviting me there regularly. And they have one kind of slogan, one quote from Agni Purana on the wall. And that quote says that if anyone wastes one grain of prasadam, for this offense one has to go to the hell for 10 lifetimes. And I was thinking, 10 lifetimes in hell for one grain, that's a little bit expensive. So that's a little bit, tough price to pay. So it really encourages you to kind of make sure that nothing is wasted, right? Is there any grain left? I don't want to pay that much. And I spoke to the leader of that community. I said, look what's happening. Put this on the wall of your prasadam hall, and so people will be more mindful, etc. So, yeah, but this is, like devotees have so much mercy. It's just overflowing, right? And of course the problem with that is familiarity breeds contempt, right? So that's one thing we really have to be careful or mindful in Krishna consciousness. But yes, devotees are getting a lot of mercy from the Lord, but it may seem to be like a reciprocation between master and servant, so we're serving the Lord and naturally he reciprocates with his mercy. But the Lord does not depend on someone's service to give mercy. He can give mercy to everyone and anyone, and actually he wants to give his mercy to anyone and everyone. And the only difference is that devotees are near him, and so they get a lot of mercy from him. Right? Whereas other people or other living entities are unfortunately too far from him, and so they are missing, they are lacking that mercy. And it's described here that the mercy of the Lord is called kripa, right? And so the perfection attained by the mercy is kripa siddhi. And mostly this is the case with all the living entities, that that's why the mercy is called causeless mercy, that we haven't really done anything to deserve that mercy, right? But it's just causeless. Lord, out of his kindness and love, gives his mercy to all the living entities. And nevertheless, we see that some do receive the Lord's mercy, and others, they don't, right? Somehow. And so, what's the deciding factor? And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in Madhurya Kadambini that the Lord's mercy, the Lord decides whom to give mercy and whom not to give, even though he wants to give his mercy to everyone. But his decision is based upon the mercy of his devotee. Whomever his devotee chooses, that person gets the Lord's mercy. So this is how much important it is for us to be connected to the Lord's devotee, because without the Lord's devotee we can never get his mercy. And there are many, many instances showing how the Lord's mercy is completely causeless, and he is ready to give his mercy to anyone, regardless of service, no service, motives or no motives, as long as people are connected to the devotees. And so Prabhupada was telling one interesting story in this regard, how one thief became a devotee. And my Guru Maharaj was telling this story in a little bit more elaborate way, so we'll share that version. Same thing, but a little bit more entertaining, which is good for the early morning after short sleep. And so, once upon a time, there was one thief, and he just happened to pass by a place where satsang was happening outdoor. Some group of devotees were discussing, just holding Bhagavatam class. And apparently this group of devotees was heading to Vrindavan. And so the thief, and because it was in India, right? The thief became interested what's happening there. Some sadhus are sitting there. And he happened to come in the middle of the class. And so the lecturer was saying that Krishna lives in Vrindavan and he looks like a little simple cowherd boy. And this fifth never heard of Krishna, right? So the lecturer says that Krishna lives in Vrindavan. He looks like a simple cowherd boy, but actually he is possessor of all opulences. That Krishna has all wealth, right? That actually Acharyas describe how that Vrindavan seems to be simple kind of place, right? But actually it is more opulent than Vaikuntha. Actually all the opulence of Vaikuntha cannot compare even to one speck of dust in Vrindavan. And Vaikuntha has so much opulence, but in Vrindavan there are no even regular stones. Every stone is Chintamani stone, which is more valuable than any gemstone, and they are just lying everywhere. That's why, they also have gemstones, but they don't give much value to those gemstones. It's described that the cow barn of Nanda Maharaj, which holds 900,000 cows, the pillars of this cow barn are carved from solid blocks of sapphire, right? And the roof of the cow barn are solid ruby tiles. So this is the roof. You can just imagine for 900,000 cows how big that cow barn must be. So they don't really care about this stuff. They have such an abundance there. And they have emeralds there, and what they use the emeralds for, that they have very expert carvers also in Goloka Vrindavan. And so in Vrindavan, as you know, there are plenty of green parrots with these red beaks, special Vrindavan parrots, Braj parrots. And so some artist is carving this kind of parrot from the solid piece of emeralds, and then attaches ruby, beak made of ruby. And so they use these parrots just to kind of bewilder real parrots, because they put them on the wall and or on the roof like that. They're like decoration, but they look like real parrots. And so the real parrots, they come flying to kind of associate with those stone parrots, emerald parrots, and they try to strike a conversation or association, but this ruby, the emerald parrots, they don't respond. And the real parrots, they become very frustrated. Why are they ignored like that? And being frustrated, they fly away, and all the Brajabasis, they look at this one and they have a good laugh at the bewildered parrots. So this is the opulence of Braj, Vrindavan, where Krishna lives. It's really unlimited. It's so much that they don't even care about it, That's why Krishna wears, instead of all these gemstones, he's just wearing gunja berry, right? Garland, or flower garlands. Prabhupada said that the only real opulence left in Kali Yuga are flowers. Anyway, so the idea being that the lecturer, he was describing how opulent Krishna is, even though he's such a simple coward boy, but his opulence has no limits. And the thief was sitting there, and he was thinking, my God, I'm trying to kind of, nick some, few cheap things from people. But this apparently very small and very naive coward boy living in this village, he has so much, so he seems to be very easy target for me. So I should go there and try to find this Krishna and steal everything from him, and then I'll live in luxury for the rest of my life. But then he was thinking, I have to find out how can I see Krishna? And then he was sitting in the class, and then he raised his hand at the end for the question, and he said, my question is, how can I find Krishna? And lecturer and all the devotees were very happy with that question, and they said, yeah, we are going to Vrindavan to see Krishna, so you can join us. Right? But if you want to join our pilgrimage, you have to follow 40 with the principles and chant 16 rounds a day minimum, right? And so the thief was thinking, okay, it's a little austere, of course, but anyway, to attain my goal, I will make this sacrifice. And so he started doing everything devotees were doing, including wearing tilak and chanting japa, like that. And finally, they arrived to Vrindavan, and then, he was asking them, so we're here, tell me the address, where can I go and see Krishna? And devotees were saying, well, it's not so easy to see Krishna, you have to become qualified, and you have to get Krishna by the mercy of Krishna devotees, so there are many saintly personalities. No, that first they told him, according to Srila Indradyumna Maharaj at least, that you have to become qualified by strictly following sadhana and temple program, like that. And so they made this feast, rise early in the morning, take cold shower, and do everything else devotees were doing. So his austerities were increasing, but he was growing in his impatience also. And he was asking, so how can I find Krishna? And then someone said, Krishna can be available by the mercy of his pure devotees. So they directed him to one Brajabasi as a guru, to accept him as a guru. And so he came, he said, I really want to see Krishna. Please tell me where Krishna is. And this Brajabasi, he kind of sensed that this man has ulterior motives, but he knew everything is under Krishna's control, so let me encourage him. So he let him become more purified, so he made him every day do parikrama, Vrindavan parikrama, Govardhan parikrama, and chant minimum 64 hours a day. And so the thief was doing all this, and he was becoming more and more impatient, and he was like going around Govardhan and chanting and saying, Krishna, Krishna, when will I finally see you? How much longer will it take? Oh, Krishna. And people who saw that, they were like so amazed that they were bowing down to his feet, trying to touch his feet, and the thief was saying, oh, what are you doing? Get lost from here. And people were saying, oh, he is so humble, he is a genuine sadhu. He is not interested in any worship or fame, only interested in Krishna. And so, finally, he came to his guru and he said, when will you at the end of the day, tell me where can I find Krishna. And Guru said, okay, that you also have to bathe in Radha Kunda every day. So he started doing that. And sitting one day on the banks of Radha Kunda, being very exhausted by all these austerities and being very frustrated by not getting the desired result. And he was kind of in a very sad mood. And then a little boy approached him and pulled him by his chadar. He said, Baba, why are you so sad? And this little boy, he had a blue color of the skin, and he had big lotus eyes and black curly hair. And but the feet, he didn't recognize Krishna, because by Krishna's yoga maya potency, he made himself unrecognizable. So he was thinking, oh, this is just a village boy. And he said, I'm so sad because I'm looking for, oh no, that first, the fifth, he just wanted to kind of run this boy away. He said, who are you anyway? Why are you bothering about me? And the boy said, well, my name is Makanchor. I live here. And the thief was asking, so what does it mean, Makanchor? Why are you named Makanchor? And the boy said, well, because I was really into, or I am really into the business of stealing butter. So they gave me this name. This is my specialty. I'm stealing butter from everybody. And the thief was very impressed. He said, wow, we are colleagues. Nice to meet you. It's good that you started practicing from very young age. I think you'll go very far in your life. And actually, I'm also a thief. And this is what I'm here for in Vrindavan. And actually, I think I'm trying to find one boy here, Krishna, and he has a lot of wealth. But I think everyone is suspecting that I'm trying to steal things from him. So they don't let me see him. They just, make it so difficult for me to see him. They're just kind of putting more and more obstacles on my path to see him. But you're a little boy, and no one will ever suspect you. If you go and you find out where Krishna lives, and you tell me, and you are stealing things, but you are just young and naive. There are much better things than butter to steal. Much more valuable things than butter. So, and let's strike a deal. You kind of give me the lead to Krishna, and I'll do the job, and you'll get your cut, right? And Makanchor said, okay, it sounds good. Let me go and, gather some information and check it out and see if I could actually bring you to Krishna. And so every day they were like making an appointment for the meeting, discuss things, and so every day Makanchor was coming back, and the thief was asking, so did you find Krishna? And Makanchor was saying, not yet, but I'm on the track, on the right track, and so very soon we'll see you will get Krishna for you. And one day, Krishna just appeared in his full gear with a peacock feather and flute and everything else, and then actually, and with all his ornaments. and the thief actually recognized him. That he said, "So you are Krishna yourself?" And Krishna said, "Yes, I was. I am, but thief said, but you didn't come like that in your full gear." And Krishna said, "Yes, I think if I would come with my full opulence and you would steal this from me, my mother would become upset." But now I can see that you're so sincere in your practices, and you perform so much austerity, so I can fulfill your desire. And the thief said, "No, now I have you, I have no desire for anything else." So, and we know that Dhruva Maharaj had the same, right, situation, that he wanted big kingdom, but when he saw the Supreme Lord, he said, "Now I have you, I have no desire for anything material." So we can see that there are so many instances of people who haven't done anything and even had ulterior motivation, but by the mercy of the devotees, they would get Krishna's mercy. Right? So devotee in that sense is playing the part of Krishna's representative or guru. Right? And that's why Lord Chaitanya says, any devotee, Yaradeha Tarika Krishna Upadesh Amaragya Guru Anataradesh, right? That wherever you go, whomever you meet, just deliver them the message of Krishna, and in this way become a guru and save the people of your land. So yeah, that Lord Chaitanya is actually helping us to understand that even though he is independent, but he makes himself dependent on his devotees. And once Srila Prabhupada was walking at the beach somewhere, either Los Angeles, Bombay, and one devotee was asking him a question, very intelligent question, that if Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord, all-powerful, and he wanted Krishna consciousness to be spread everywhere, all over the world, why didn't he do that? Because as we know, he only went, except Bengal, he only went to South India and Orissa. And that was about it. Not even whole India, right, got his mercy. And Srila Prabhupada really liked the question, and he even stopped and he said, Lord Chaitanya didn't do it because he wanted me to do it. So, and this is what Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita also, that I am the Supreme Lord, so I've arranged everything, but I want you to become instrument in my hands. And this is very important instruction for all of us. And this verse, 1133, is very amazing verse actually in Bhagavad Gita. Because it says, Tasmat tvamutishta yesho lavasva jitva shatrum bhungshva rajam samritam mayavatanyata purvameva nimittamatra bhavasavya sachin. It says that, well, it's translated as get up, but utishta literally means wake up, right? Of course, get up and wake up are connected. But wake up means wake up from your illusions, wake up from your daydreaming, stop your bewilderment, Yashola Baswa. Attain fame, become famous. Jitva Shatrun, conquer your enemies, and Bhunksva Rajam Samridam, and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. Mayavate Nihita Purumeva, I've arranged everything already. It's already pre-arranged. The only thing I want, Nimitta Matra Bhava Savyasachya, is that you become an instrument in my hands. And this is very amazing because as devotees, we understand that three things are very much condemned by spiritual practitioners, right? And these three things are fame, wealth, and power. And yet, and Arjuna doesn't want this, right? From the beginning, he said that all of these people, they are so greedy for power and wealth and all, let them have it, I'm not interested. Devotee, right? But Krishna tells him, no, I want you to have fame, I want you to have wealth, I want you to have power, right? And I want you to become an instrument in my hand. Why? Simple, because he knows that Arjuna doesn't want it. That's why if he has it, he will only use it for me and for nothing else, right? And so this is, I think, one of the most puzzling manifestations of Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. That those who have less desires, they have more success in life. And those who have too many desires, they fail. So renunciation makes one successful. And that's why devotees are meant to practice renunciation not for the sake of renunciation. That's really important to understand. They practice renunciation to serve Krishna better, right? And we can see Prabhupada's example, crystal clear. When he was a householder, he tried for wealth, and he wanted this wealth to be used for Krishna. But he didn't achieve much success, right? But when he renounced, he became a multi-billionaire, practically speaking, right? And so, and we can see in ISKCON, this is very interesting, right? That grihastas are working very, very hard, but mostly sannyasis and brahmacharis are wealthy, getting wealth, right? Because this is really important, that actually of the 6 opulences of the Lord, the most amazing one is renunciation, right? And so, because renunciation means, instead of just having no material desires for myself and being happy with that, having all kinds of spiritual desires for serving the Supreme Lord. Being so absorbed in the desires to serve the Lord in the best possible way that you don't even have time to think about yourself. This is real renunciation, and actually Srila Prabhupada is a perfect example. He showed us a perfect example which we will discuss in our spiritual entrepreneurship class today, and we'll see how real renunciation, not artificial show bottle renunciation as Mayavadis demonstrate, but real Vaishnava renunciation, being fully focused only Supreme Lord in the right way brings tremendous success, and if we follow the same model, we can achieve the same results. And Prabhupada actually said that I want all of the devotees to become like me, and if I'm one man and I'm doing so much, just imagine if all of you can become like me, how much we can do, right? So, any comments, questions? Unless you... Yes.
Thank you for a nice class. You were speaking on this point about how, Arjuna, he didn't have any desire for these opulences, so therefore he was qualified to be able to. So if I introspect, I can see that these desires have so much for Pratishta and all these things, but still opportunities are there to take leadership or to take responsibility. So how we are supposed to understand, like, it seems the best would be to run away from such responsibilities, because otherwise you have this, like, get yourself in trouble.
Well, I think it will be a little bit more clear when we go through the 12 points of spiritual entrepreneurship, because it all starts with Krishna consciousness, becoming Krishna conscious, and one of the most impressive verses for me in Bhagavatam, which Prabhupada quoted a lot, is Akama Sarva Kamava Moksha Kama Udarati Tivrena Bhakti Yogina Jeta Purusham Param, that regardless of having no desires or all types of desires or even desiring liberation, if someone is broad-minded, Udarati, one can be really focused in one's practice of Bhakti Yoga and achieve full perfection. So broad-mindedness or thinking big, that's going to be the first and foremost point we'll explore in our course. And this is what Srila Prabhupada personally described as being his biggest fault. Biggest problem, rather. He said his only problem. He said, my only problem was I was always thinking big. I could never think small. Because this is what Krishna consciousness means. Think big. And so starting with that, you can actually achieve success regardless of your position. Because thinking big means seeing things from Krishna's point of view rather than from yours or somebody else's point of view. Seeing the full picture.
Maharaj, I get the analogy of we can't see God, but He is there, like the sugar in the water. It's sweet. Krishna says everyone is in Him, but He's not in us. How would you explain soul and super soul? Like Paramatma is inside every being.
Yeah. Paramatma is very interesting manifestation. Shastra gives very simple analogy from the past, like the sun reflected in the, so many water pots, and sun is reflected in every water pot, but sun is not there. Sun is there, but it's not there, right? There are so many modern analogies we can give that you can talk to your husband on a mobile phone. He's there, he's talking to you, but he is not with you, right? So that's like Paramatma, right? I think mobile phones are attempts to imitate Paramatma. Reach out to anyone at any time. Where are you? But we all depend on the range and funds on the mobile, plans, so many things. So it's not, it's imitation Paramatma. It's not real thing, because real Paramatma never goes out of range. Yes.
Maharaj, one viewer is asking question. The question is asking, thank you Maharaj for your class on the point you made on becoming an instrument for the Krishna consciousness movement. How do we actually do this in our temples, as it seems that movement in West is not attracting the localsmen anymore?
Yes, the answer is please attend our spiritual entrepreneurship session, which starts at 11 o'clock. All right. So we'll finish here. Thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Goswaminanda.
Jai.